Hello viewers, welcome to the online educational resource program of Zoological Society of Assam. I am Julie Boiragi from Dorong College, Tezpur. Today, I will be discussing about the process of transcription in prokaryotes. This lecture is a part of the noble initiative of the Zoological Society of Assam to help the students in this critical period of COVID-19 outbreak. I hope this video will be beneficial. After going through this video, the students will have an idea about the central dogma of molecular biology, what is transcription and facts related to it, different types of RNAs found in prokaryotic cells, enzyme and other molecules required for transcription, structure and subunits of RNA polymerase, formation of a typical ribonucleotide, mechanism of transcription in prokaryotes. Let us have a look into the historical background of the process of transcription. Mendel was the first scientist whose work made other biologists learn that genes are discrete elements responsible for appearance of specific traits. The first meaningful insight into gene function was gained by Archibald Garrod, a Scottish physician who reported in 1908 that the symptoms exhibited by persons with certain rare inherited diseases were caused by the absence of specific enzymes. Garrod had discovered the relationship between a genetic defect, a specific enzyme, and a specific metabolic condition. He called such diseases inborn errors of metabolism. The idea that genes direct the production of enzymes was resurrected in the 1940s by George Biddle and Edward Tatum of the California Institute of Technology. They studied Neurospora, a tropical bread mold. The result of their study was clear-cut that a gene carries the information for the construction of a particular enzyme. This conclusion became known as the one gene, one enzyme hypothesis. Later, this concept was modified to one gene, one polypeptide theory. This is the picture of George Biddle and this is the picture of Edward Tatum. Jacob Brenner and Crick, at an informal meeting on Good Friday of 1960, suddenly discovered the unique RNA found first in 1956 by Elliot Volkin and Lazarus Strachan. It was DNA-like and was an unstable intermediate. Out of that Good Friday discussion, the scientists trio could realize that Volkin and Strachan's DNA-like RNA was indeed the genetic messenger, hence they named it mRNA. By 1960, 4 research groups had independently detected an enzyme in cellular extracts that could form an RNA polymer from ribonucleoside 5' triphosphate. That was the DNA-dependent RNA polymerase. Subsequent work on the purified E. coli RNA polymerase helped to define the fundamental properties of transcription. Rho protein, which is required for termination of some prokaryotes, was discovered by J. W. Roberts in 1969. This is the picture of Crick. He is Francois Jacob, and this is the picture of Sidney Brenner. Central dogma of molecular biology is a very interesting phenomenon of flow of information within cells. When the cell needs a particular protein, the nucleotide sequence of the appropriate portion of the immensely long DNA molecule in a chromosome is first copied into RNA. These RNA copies are used directly as templates to direct the synthesis of protein. The flow of genetic information in cells is called the central dogma. In this picture, synthesis of mRNA from DNA is seen in nucleus. Pre-mRNAs are formed in case of eukaryotes only. Mature mRNAs are transported to the cytoplasm where they are translated into protein. All cells except RNA viruses exhibit central dogma. This phenomenon was described by Francis Crick in 1958. Now we will discuss some basic facts about transcription. At first, let's go for the definition. Transcription is the process of synthesizing RNA from a DNA template using the rule of complementarity. The DNA information is rewritten but in the same nucleotide language. The first step in expression of a gene is the transcription of RNA from a specific DNA template. Whenever a cell requires a particular protein, mRNA molecule is transcribed from appropriate DNA strand, which is then translated into the required protein. Transcription is similar to DNA replication chemically and enzymatically. Both involve enzymes that synthesize a new strand of nucleic acid complementary to a DNA template strand. But there are some important differences as well. RNA polymerase catalyzes the synthesis of RNA strand. This enzyme is DNA dependent, hence called DNA dependent RNA polymerase. RNA polymerase does not need a primer, rather it can initiate transcription de novo. The new RNA strand is made from ribonucleotides. The RNA product does not remain base paired to the template DNA strand, rather the enzyme displaces the growing chain only a few nucleotides behind, where each ribonucleotide is added. This displacement is critical for the RNA to be translated to produce its protein product. Because the RNA product releases from the template so closely behind the polymerization site, multiple RNA polymerase molecules can transcribe the same gene at the same time, each following closely behind another. Thus, a cell can synthesize large numbers of transcripts from a single gene in a short time. Accuracy of the proofreading system of transcription is less as compared to the DNA replication process. There is one mistake in every 10,000 nucleotides added. Transcription selectively copies only certain parts of the genome and makes 1 to several hundred or even 1,000 copies of any given section. The choice of which part of DNA to transcribe and how extensively can be regulated. Thus, in the same cell at different times, different sets of genes might be transcribed. For example, all cells of a human being are genetically identical, but they transcribe different sets of genes, leading to differences in the character and function of cells. Let us see how many types of RNAs are present in a typical prokaryotic cell. In a typical prokaryotic cell, only 4% of total RNA is coding RNA, that is mRNA, and rest of the 96% are functional RNAs, that is rRNA and tRNAs. Prokaryotes can directly produce mature mRNA from DNA template. Bacterial cells transcribe pre-rRNA and pre-tRNA from DNA. After processing, they produce functional mature rRNA and tRNA. Let us have an overview of the prokaryotic transcription cycle. To transcribe a gene, RNA polymerase proceeds through a series of well-defined steps which are grouped into three phases: initiation, chain elongation, and termination. And the process of RNA synthesis requires template DNA strand, RNA polymerase, nitrogenous bases, ribose sugar, phosphate group, magnesium ion and zinc ion, and in case of prokaryotes having Rho dependent terminator sites, requires Rho protein. Now let us discuss about the structure and subunits of RNA polymerase. In this picture, subunits of E. coli RNA polymerase are shown. The core enzyme comprises 2 copies of the alpha subunit and 1 each of the beta, beta prime and omega subunits. 1 sigma subunit having the capability of promoter recognition joins the core enzyme and forms the holoenzyme. The picture in the right hand side shows the helices, sheets and turns of the bacterial RNA polymerase holoenzyme of initial transcription complex. The structural unit of a RNA chain is a ribonucleotide. A ribonucleotide consists of one of the 4 nitrogenous bases, that is adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil, ribose sugar and phosphate group. This picture shows the 4 types of nitrogenous bases present in RNA. They are categorized into single-ringed pyrimidines and double-ringed purines. Adenine and guanine are purines, whereas cytosine and uracil are pyrimidines. The adenine of RNA binds to thymine of the DNA template. Likewise, guanine binds to cytosine, cytosine binds to guanine, and uracil binds to adenine of the template strand. Formation of a ribonucleotide requires a ribose sugar, a nitrogenous base and a phosphate molecule. Ribose sugar have a characteristic OH group in its 2' position. It binds a base at 1' position. It is bound to the alpha phosphate molecule at 5' position. Now we will discuss how transcription initiates. The first requirement for initiation is a promoter present in the template DNA. The sigma subunit of RNA polymerase recognizes and binds to the promoter. This picture shows a promoter polymerase complex. All promoters share 2 characteristic conserved sequences called -35 and -10 regions, each of 6 nucleotides and separated by a stretch of 17 to 19 nucleotides. An additional DNA element binding RNA polymerase is found in some strong promoters, for example those transcribing rRNA genes. This is called UP element. The DNA nucleotide encoding the beginning of the RNA chain is designated +1. This picture shows the prokaryotic promoter with -35 and -10 consensus sequences. The consensus sequence of -10 region is TATAAT and known as Pribnow box. The initial binding of RNA polymerase to promoter in the closed complex leaves the DNA in double-stranded form. The next stage requires the enzyme to be more intimately engaged in the promoter in the open complex. The transition from closed to open complex involves structural changes in the enzyme and opening of the double helix to reveal the template and non-template strands. The transition to open complex is called isomerization. The melting occurs between positions -11 and +3 in relation to the transcription start site. Isomerization does not require energy derived from ATP hydrolysis and is the result of spontaneous conformational change in the DNA enzyme complex to a more energetically favorable form. Isomerization is essentially irreversible and once complete, typically guarantees that transcription will subsequently initiate. Here, we will discuss the later events of transcription initiation. This diagram shows the final steps of transcription initiation. After attaining an open complex, RNA synthesis is initiated. A primer is not required for initiation. RNA polymerase starts most transcripts with an A. That ribonucleotide binds the template nucleotide T with only 2 hydrogen bonds. Once RNA synthesis begins, there follows a period called abortive initiation. In this phase, the enzyme synthesizes short RNA molecules of less than 10 nucleotides in length. Instead of being elongated further, these transcripts are released from the polymerase and the enzyme, without being dissociating from the template, begins RNA synthesis again. Once a polymerase manages to make an RNA longer than 10 base pairs, a stable ternary complex is formed. That is, a complex containing the enzyme, the DNA template, and a growing RNA chain. The sigma subunit dissociates from the polymerase as it enters the elongation phase. Once the transcription complex moves away from the promoter, it is called promoter clearance. Now, let us see how elongation of a RNA chain takes place. In this picture, we have seen that DNA strands have unwound over a short distance to form a transcription bubble. During transcription, the E. coli RNA polymerase generally keeps about 17 base pairs unwound. Because DNA is a helix, movement of transcription bubble requires considerable strand rotation of the nucleic acid molecules. A moving RNA polymerase generates waves of positive supercoils ahead of the transcription bubble and negative supercoils behind. The strand that serves as template for RNA synthesis is called template strand. Ribonucleotides are added to the RNA chain under the guidance of template strand. 8 to 9 base pairs of RNA-DNA hybrid occurs at the transcription bubble at a time. Elongation of transcript proceeds at a rate of 50 to 90 nucleotides per second. Now, let us have a look into the chemistry behind RNA chain elongation. RNA polymerase elongates an RNA strand by adding ribonucleotide units to the 3' hydroxyl end, building RNA in the 5' to 3' direction. The 3' hydroxyl group acts as a nucleophile, attacking the alpha phosphate of the incoming ribonucleoside triphosphate and releasing pyrophosphate. And this is the overall reaction of RNA chain elongation. RNA polymerase carries out two proofreading functions as well. The first of these is called pyrophosphorylated editing. In this, the enzyme uses its active site in a simple back reaction to catalyze the removal of an incorrectly inserted ribonucleotide by reincorporation of pyrophosphate. The enzyme can then incorporate another ribonucleotide in its place in the growing RNA chain. The second proofreading mechanism is hydrolytic editing. Here, the polymerase backtracks by one or more nucleotides and cleaves the RNA product, removing the error containing sequence. Now, let us discuss about transcription termination. Sequences called terminators trigger the elongating polymerase to dissociate from the DNA and release the RNA chain it has made. In bacteria, two types of termination mechanisms exist. One is row dependent, another is row independent. The row independent termination causes polymerase to terminate without the involvement of other factors. Row independent terminators, also called intrinsic terminators, consist of two sequence elements, a short inverted repeat of about 20 nucleotides followed by a stretch of about 80 base pairs. When polymerase transcribes an inverted repeat sequence, the resulting RNA can form a stem loop structure by base pairing with itself. The stem loop structure causes termination by disrupting the elongation complex. The stem loop works as an efficient terminator when it is followed by a stretch of AU base pairs. AU are the weakest base pairs and are disrupted by the effects of the stem loop on the transcribing polymerase, and so the RNA will more readily dissociate. Let us discuss about row dependent termination. Row, which is a ring-shaped protein with 6 identical subunits, binds to specific sites called row utilization sites. These sites consist of about 40 nucleotides that do not fold into a secondary structure, and they are also rich in C residues. This picture shows a row-dependent termination complex. Row binds to the single-stranded RNA as it exits the RNA polymerase. The elongation complex stalls at the hairpin loop, which is not followed by AU base pairs. Once row is bound to the transcript, it shows helicase-like activity to dissociate the transcript from template by ATP hydrolysis. In bacteria, transcription and translation are tightly coupled. Row fails to bind any transcript that is being translated, that is, a transcript bound by ribosomes. At last, let us recollect what we have learned till now. Before the synthesis of a particular protein, the corresponding mRNA molecule must be produced by transcription. Transcription is catalyzed by DNA-dependent RNA polymerase. The newly synthesized RNA strand is complementary to the template DNA strand. Ribonucleotide triphosphates are added systematically to synthesize RNA. Transcription involves binding of RNA polymerase to template DNA strand, initiation of transcript synthesis, elongation and termination. Prokaryotic RNA polymerase requires a sigma subunit for promoter recognition. Binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter and initiation of transcription are closely regulated. Transcription stops at specific sequences called terminators. Some terminators require Rho factors for termination. These are the references from which I have prepared the present lecture. With this, I want to conclude here. Thanks for taking interest in this lecture. If you have any query or feedback, you can write to me. My email ID is provided here. Thank you.